the main door, then smiled him in. Her smile, he now realized, had nothing to do with him. It was a reminder from some joke still floating in the air when he arrived. As proof of that fact, inside the room was another secretary, also young and pretty, who was smiling as well. In her case, she was smiling only with her eyes, her hands having clamped her mouth, pending his departure, after which she would pull out stops and burst out laughing. He introduced himself. Both women killed their smiles and scrambled to block access to a closed door in front of them. He knew who was behind that door. Newborn Walomu, MP. So, brushing the two girls aside, he went and opened the door anyway. And who sat before him now if it was not his academic? He was fat, and that was how Professor Kimani greeted him. You fat baboon. The man had been reclining in a black leather chair behind a shiny mahogany desk. Now he brought himself back into an upright position, except for a mounted nameplate announcing him as Newborn Walomu, MP. The desk had absolutely nothing on it. This is my office, Karanja, he said. You will use nothing but civil language while you are in it. Do you understand? Professor Kimani did not answer. What a chance that already was. His enemy thought. Absence of an answer meant submission. To celebrate this easy victory, the man rocked in his chair and fought fast. Then he spoke again. Karanja, was there something specific that you came to see me about? Again, Professor Kimani did not answer. Another victory. This time the man tried to celebrate it with a smile, but he killed it. Since his leaving the university, his belly had grown into a ball, big and firm. It should have become a handicap, yet it had not. Was he not husband to 3 beautiful young women who had already borne him a child each? It paid for itself through reproductive success, which it owed to its cause. A soft seat in parliament. He had won the seat in a by-election. Gunmen, scaring off pursuers, had killed his predecessor. A swaggering road
What is happening there? He had won the seat in a by-election. Gunmen, scaring off pursuers, had killed his predecessors. A swaggering rogue whimsically. Okay, so let's go from he had
won the seat in a by-election. Gunmen, scaring off pursuers, had killed his predecessors. A swaggering rogue whimsically. Nickname, Kazi Kubwa Pesa Dogo, or Big Buck Small Money, while he was smuggling drunkenly out of a bar. Now there, Mr. Kazi Kubwa Pesa Dogo's successor was sluggish and groggy like a saturated bottle with a hangover. In a big office furnished at public, expensive black leather chairs and 2 pretty secretaries. Karanja, take a seat, he said, gesturing at a chair. Professor Kimani rejected it. Keep it. Fine. Stand there forever if you like. See if I care. Let me guess. You came to ask why I want to marry Asia. You have a nerve. You keep off. Watch your tongue, Karanja. I am not going going to warn you about your language again. Why do you want to steal my wife? The word I used was marry. You prefer steal. What good is she to you? Professor Kimani cursed himself for that wording. He had degraded not only his wife but also himself, and in the same breath upbraided his foe. What good is she to me? Is that what you ask? Because she is much older than I am. Is that what you mean? Here is my answer. All is gold. Mr. Walomu's opponents had a different answer. When a cat gets into a pigeon coop, they say it kills all the pigeons it finds there, not just those it will eat. Mr. Walomu had already eaten 3 pigeons and now had in his paws a more. As here, strewn along his path, lay many others he had killed but not eaten. So who could say for sure that man says, Asia will not become one of these? Mr. Walomu continued. As for what you call stealing, a professor in Texas says that lots of people do it. He threw in a Swahili to support his claim. Na hivyo ndivyo ilivyo. To help it along, he gave an approximate English equivalent, and that's how the cookie crumbles. That was mockery Professor Kimani felt had to reject. You have 3 beautiful wives, he began. This was a silly start, as even he realized. Had he not sounded an envious loser? Nonetheless, he went on. All of them are young, and young they will still be the day I die. Mr. Walomu added, Karanja, you know the saying, a real bull dies with green grass in its mouth. Then why do you want to steal my wife? She is old, not the green grass you want in your mouth. I just told you why. All is gold. Anyway, stealing, to use your word, is not all that uncommon. You know, my Texas guy says 30% of the British still marry spouses from their partners. Repeat, 30%. That is a lot of spouse stealers there. Wouldn't you say? Professor Kimani refused to bite the man's bait. Still, the man continued. Now take the Americans contrary to what everyone thinks.
What? What did you say? Contrary to what everyone thinks, Karanja, Americans are not great spouse stealers at all. Can you read like that?
Now take the Americans. Contrary to what everyone thinks, Karanja, Americans are not great spouse stealers at all. They check in at a mere 17%, way behind the British. In fact, to cut a long story short, only the Greeks are greater spouse stealers than the British. Boy, do the Greeks know this spouse business? They come in at a whole 40%. The man was now toying with Professor Kimani, unable to tolerate it anymore. Professor Kimani moved to end it. You greedy fat baboon, he shouted, closing in. The man stood up. Stop where you are, he said. Professor Kimani kept coming. It was near enough. He swung a fist. He missed. First you steal my wife, he said. He swung another. He missed again. Now you mock me as well. He swung yet another. This time he lost his balance and fell.
Hasira? Okay, let's continue.
Mr. Walomu pounced at once. Now you die, Karanja, he said. A clumsy scuffle, as between bull elephants, followed. It ended only when the police came and arrested the two angry men. Professor Kimani was charged with assaulting a member of parliament. His university followed suit by demoting him from his current rank as full professor back to his starting rank as senior lecturer. This, it said, was his due punishment for disgracing the university in the eye of the public. 6 months of jail followed. Then he was set free. As he walked back to his house, dejectedly putting foot ahead of foot, his career was all he could see, and it was doomed beyond revival.
Okay, so we can now discuss that part. Tell me what happens on page 34, and also reflect upon, can you, maybe for what happens there, what do you think was the cause of the entire thing? Now, whom do you blame for whatever happened there? Okay, that one we'll answer later. For now, let's talk about page 34. What do you see that happens there? Yes.
When Professor Kimani told him to get money to the end, Professor Kimani went to the end.
So Professor Kimani goes to see the MP Walomu, and when he gets there on page, there is a specific thing that happens. What happens? Yes. So the secretaries are there and they are smiling. Do they have genuine smiles? How do we know? How do we know that they are not smiling genuinely at him?
As for me, how I see, the first secretary was smiling to Professor Kimani from some job still floating in there when he arrived. He was smiling to Professor Kimani to tell him or to remind him that
I want you to know something about secretaries who work in offices. There is training. When you are training as a secretary, you are trained to smile at guests. And that is something known as public relations. You know, people have an impression about how you look when they arrive at a place. So when they arrive there and you are gloomy, it's like they'll be commenting about the place, saying this place is unwelcoming, the people there are just, But when you smile, it gives an impression to the public that you are very friendly people, right? Yes. So the secretaries had been trained to handle people like that. Can you ever go to a police station and see a policeman smiling at you? Why? Why? They are trained to be, faceless, totally be serious all the time because they are handling crime. But for those who are handling people in offices, sometimes their business people are coming, they need to impress, and so they'll smile. Now, you've realized sometimes, maybe by now you've not gone to so many places, but when you go to a place for the first time, you may think that place is heaven. But until you stay there, that's when you realize maybe it's hell. Because of the first impression, people are, karibu, 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 oh, kitchen. But once you are there, you realize that no one cares. So that is public relations. When you go for secretarial courses and some of the courses, that is how people are trained, to make people feel like you are welcome fully. But then, when do they change their smile to something else in this story? Yes? When he gave the name, because all the people, like if you are staying in Bikeke, and there is an MP like Bissau, and there is a lecturer somewhere who teaches maybe TTI or somewhere KT, whatever, people will know them. And if ever the MP Bissau has taken a wife of another person, people will obviously know, isn't it? Yes. Such news travel very fast. So it seems the secretaries had known what had happened. So when he said he's Kimani, they decided this one is not welcome here, right? Yes. So they tried to block him. They began to block him. What did he do? Yes. He pushed them aside and went in. If it were you, would you do the same?
Yes.
Why? You need to face the man. But remember, Asiya decided voluntarily to move away, and she told him she's going away no matter what she's going. So will that man solve the problem, or Asiya should have solved it? Yeah, let me warn you one thing. Even when you will become women or girls or mothers, if your husband walks away on you, never go to attack another woman. Eti wewe ndio unanichukulia mme. Amemchukulia mme kwani ni mzigo? Ni mzigo, si ni mtu, ana akili yake sio? Ameenda, wacha aende. Don't try to follow and beat the other woman or attack the other woman, because this person has done voluntarily. If you make a decision as you now, decide to live your life or walk away as well. I'm told in this BKK there is a man who married another man. Hey. After he had married a wife and they had 2 children, I think. Just here around Makutano. Now, will you go follow the other man and say, why did you take my man? Will you? No. You live your life. If you think you can take that farm and use it and plow and take care of your children, start your business, mind your business. Don't go about umenichukulia. That si mzigo, ni mtu na akili zake. So even if you have a boyfriend, when you go to colleges and you are in a relationship, if your friend takes, say, to hell, labda amekuchukulia nini takataka, utakutana mbele na malaika. Don't struggle around, because yeah, that is the reality. That is the reality. I'm just telling you the reality. Don't ever fight for something like that, because you will be a loser at the end of the day. You will be embarrassed. Maybe you'll go there, you'll be beaten. Now, did Kimani gain? Anyway, let's proceed. On page 35, what happens? Page 35? What happens on page 35? Now that Kimani has pushed the girls and gone into that office, and he meets Walomu there, what does he do?
He makes Walomu greeted him as a fat baboon.
Imagine, you get into somebody's office and you say, you fat baboon. What do you think they'll do? Yes? They'll beat you up, they may arrest you. So you are only acting because of your emotions, but sometimes when we act out of our emotions, the decision we make are not the best. So then after calling him that, did Walomu relax or what did he do? Yes? So he told him, this is my office, Karanja. You will use nothing but civil language while you are in it. Do you understand? You can imagine you have now gone there, you are being lectured. What more comes out? Yes? Professor Kimani? He did not answer. Why do you think he did not answer? He was enraged, right? What else happens? Because of that silence, Walomu feels so happy, right?
Yes.
Then what else happens? Yes.
The MP asked Karanja if there is something he needs to say about.
Yeah. So Walomu decides, this man has come, he has abused me. Now he's not saying anything. I should remind him to be here the shortest time possible. If I have anything to serve him, let him say. So he asks him, can I do something specific for you? And what does Karanja say? Again, he does not answer. He realizes this man is confused. He does not even know why he came. Maybe he was just being driven by emotions, but he does not know why he came. What follows?
The MP thinks that was another victory and tries to smile.
Another
victory.
So he knows that that's another success for himself, and he begins to celebrate by smiling. Almost smiling, but he remains firm, right? Yes. And now that the writer gives us the description, that he has a very large belly, which is very firm, big, and like a ball. And now he tells us that also Walomo had how many wives? Three beautiful young women. And each had borne him
A child.
Why did the author tell us that? Why do you think the author told us that? Why? Uh-huh. So that we identify the character trait of Walomo as being what? Greedy. Wise? He's wise for having married three beautiful women.
No.
Uh-huh. Greed for women, not for wives. Okay. And we are also told that he was now having a soft seat in a parliament. We are also told on how he got to that seat. How did he get to that seat? Yes. He got the seat through a by-election. And what had happened to the former MP? What had happened to the former MP? Because a by-election happens with maybe when the former MP is impeached, he has gone insane or something. Yes. He killed that MP by using gunmen, and they had to scare off pursuers. Then now he killed him. How did they call the former MP? Kazi kubwa, pesa dogo. What does that mean for us? Yeah? So he was earning very little, but he was doing a lot of work. You know, we have some MPs who commit a lot to their constituencies. I think you have even some references. We have been told about some leaders who do a lot for their constituencies or counties. So they have money from the government, but they use it a lot on things around them. Okay? So now we are told that Walomo is sitting there like a satiated python with a hangover. Why is he having a hangover? How does someone get to have a hangover? Yes? How does someone get to have a hangover? Yeah, we are told there. He was sitting like a satiated python with a hangover in a big office furnished at public expense with black leather chairs, 2 pretty secretaries. How does someone get to have a hangover? Yes? After drinking. Okay. Yeah, so the next page again, we are told something about the argument between Walomo and... What is the argument? What does Walomo explain for taking away Asia from Karanja? Yes?
Then he said that all is good.
Yeah, though the defense of old is gold comes out from the word when Karanja says, why did you take my old wife? That is when Walomo says old is gold. But at the first time he says, I did not steal, I just want to marry. Then later on he says, okay, you wanted us to say I stole. Okay, I'm not the first to steal a wife. It has happened where? In so many places, such as the British people, 30% of them steal women. Followed by which country? The Greeks are greater. In fact, the Greeks are the greater stealers, maybe 70%. Followed by British people, then followed by Americans. They steal spouses, not a great percent, but 17%. Way behind the British. So he's justifying that that is not illegal. Do you think wife stealing is illegal?
No.
Husband stealing, is it illegal?
No.
Okay. Now, when we check on that page, when he says old is gold, do people believe that indeed Asia will stay with the Walomo up to the end? No. Why? Yes? But Esther Msila has stayed with who? The husband is this singer. Yeah. Will they not stay together up to the end? They will not. No, the people there explain why they will not. I want you to look at that one, that paragraph of Mr. Olomu's opponents. What do the opponents believe? Yes? Yeah, he had been in a relationship with other women, but not all of them were married by him. You know, one thing with what we call womanizers, they'll have so many women, not necessarily to marry them. So they can be in a relationship with a woman, drop them, pick another, drop them, pick another, marry. Maybe with time they get rid of them. So people think that he's just doing it for fun. He will not stay with the Asia all that long. Okay? Now, we see that Walomu tells the, that is Karanja, that the Texas say what? The Texas say, a lot of people do it. Na hivyo ndivyo ilivyo. And they'll still be young even when he is old. All right? So what is he trying to prove here? That he has the ability to take care of women, right? Yes. And he says that a real bull does what? Yeah, so for him, even at death, he will still be marrying more women. That's what he's trying to prove there. Yeah? Now let's go to the next page. Page 37 below. When Karanja has been told all this, what does he decide to do? Yes. He repeated, "You greedy, fat baboon." And he now came swinging his fist to beat Walomu. Did he manage to beat Walomu? No. Asira? Asara. So he swings his hand, he misses. He swings another, what happens? He misses, then falls off. You can imagine that embarrassment. Now, on the very last part, what happens? That page 38 on top. Yes. What were they doing for them to be arrested? They were fighting now, right? Yes. Okay. So when the Karanja is arrested, what happens to him? Yes. Does he lose the job totally? No. What does he lose? Okay. Some people don't want to answer. Yes. Yeah, he's demoted from a full professor to a senior lecturer. You know, that means that his salary will automatically go down, because when you go to university, when you start teaching as just a lecturer, then you get to a senior lecturer, then now you are full professor, the salary increases. So automatically his salary will go down. And again, demotion means, will he still have the same respect from the students maybe at university like he used to have? No. He may not have. In the university, he may not have. Maybe you will not have now an office alone, because in the university, when you become a full professor, you have a room alone. Now you'll have to share an office maybe with another. So then what else happens to him apart from being demoted from a full professor? And remember that part. So most students say that he was demoted, and I don't know, they don't remember the part of full professor to senior lecturer. They say something which is not correct. Yeah, he's jailed for 6 months. Can you imagine 6 months in jail? And what is his crime? Assaulting an MP. Is it true that he assaulted the MP? No, they fought. Because they fought, was it supposed to be considered as assault? No, it's not. Because when you assault, you are the one who beats and the other person does not respond. You just beat the other person up. So, what do you think was behind his arrest? Or the judge, the verdict? Possibly the MP, right? Yes. Yeah, and it becomes a bit unfair. So when he's released, how is he? How is Karanja when he's released? Dejected, okay? Yeah, we are told he's dejected beyond revival. And he saw that he was doomed. Remember, he lost the son, the daughter, he lost the wife. He has now been also in jail for 6 months, and he lost his full professorship to senior lecturer. So now I will ask the question I asked at the beginning. Who are we to blame here for whatever happens? Asia. Did Asia send him to go to Walomu? We blame Kimani Karanja himself. He should have learned to be wise and not to use his emotions. Choices have consequences. When he decided to invade that office, sometimes when you have problems with someone, just distance yourself. You don't have to go to the office and confront them. Because when you confront them, we don't know what will come out. Maybe in the process of talking to each other, you may be annoyed and hit somebody up. And in fact, if you are someone with who has no ability to hold your emotions, isn't it? Yes. So this is a warning to you. I've seen some of you fighting in school. And sometimes you get a suspension, you go home, you waste a lot of time, you come, you are embarrassed before a committee, people shouting at you. And then at the end, you are made to write a letter, you are given a punishment. So to avoid all that, when someone is annoying you, what do? You keep distance. If you are sitting with them, request your class teacher to resettle you elsewhere. If you know that that person you cannot settle, because the difference of someone picking your wife or husband, do you think you can ever settle it? You cannot. There are some differences you can settle while there are those you cannot. For example, if someone hates you fully, can you settle a difference with them? You can't. But if someone, maybe it's just a book they took and you've now seen it, you can solve that one. If it's about the classroom cleaning, you can solve that one. But if someone just hates you totally, how will you solve it? Emotions can never be sorted out like make someone like you. Never. If someone just hates you, it is that and it is it. So, when you look at matters of Kimani and Walomu, there was no way they were going to solve it. Because if Asia decided to go away and marry Walomu, and Kimani will not have a magical way to make wealth overnight, so there was no way. Tuni would not also come back to life, right? Yes. So there was no way Asia would come back. Now we can move on to, there's another question that is asked here, especially on Walomu about greed and the impact of greed. You should also think about it so that you see the consequence. There's also another question which talks about women empowerment. I think I told you in the previous chapter. You should think about it. Okay, let's go to the next part now. Professor Kimani.
Professor Kimani had a dog, wearing from lack of sleep, a recurring problem now. He gambled all the way to the door. Why didn't people just stay in their own home?
We have to stop because the bell has already gone. Some teacher will be coming, so we just stop there. We'll proceed next. But I hope that you are really capturing that. I don't know. Did you begin writing something on the episode we've covered?
Yes.
Okay, that's good for you. And I hope those who are away, you remind them to read this part because there are so many. About 11 people, that's not a small number. Yeah, so have a good day.